some kind of mental illness to push against that, to go on stage and just bomb horribly and then still do it because you love it. You just have some really deep desire to make it work. And actually, it's usually the comedians that start awkwardly and badly who end up being interesting. The guys who, from my experience, when I've seen people show up and from the first day on stage, they're just easy, like really amiable comics who just know how to talk to people. They don't usually end up being that special. They get some quick success, but they don't usually turn into something like really unusual and great.
Do you remember your first open mic night? Was that how you started? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget that.
Can you tell us about it?
Well, I got this. I found out that you could do there was an open mic night at a club in Boston where I started called Stitches. And I was actually like 17, almost 18 years old. And I thought, geez, you can go on stage. They said you do 5 minutes. You just put your name in a hat and you get on stage. You can be anybody. That was so exciting to me. So I went to this club Stitches, which is very grown up. They didn't even want to let me in because I was underage. And they have a drinking, a liquor license. And then I went on stage and I did about 2 minutes because I didn't have enough material. Like I sputtered, my whole throat constricted, and I heard this roaring in my ears. My eyes were watering. My heart was pounding, and I couldn't control myself. I couldn't think straight, and all these adults, like drinking adults, were looking at me like I'm an idiot. And I just walked off stage to kind of confused, like, little applause. And I just felt like a pile of garbage. And then I kept doing it.
Okay, so you did really terribly on stage.
Yeah.
What made you think, I need to do more of this. I want to get back on there.
Well, I didn't do it for a little while. And then at the time I was working at a video rental store in Newton, Massachusetts, where I grew up. And Kevin Meaney, who was a very big star in the Boston comedy scene back then, Boston had a very strong local scene. And I knew who Kevin was. I heard him on the radio and stuff. And Kevin was a customer at the store I went to, that I worked at. And I told him that I had done an open mic. And he said, oh, well, you got to come on my show. He had a show that was a huge, him and Steve Sweeney, these two great comics. They had this show where they would, they'd pack the room and put on all the best comics in Boston. And he said, come be on my show. And I said, well, no, I'd need to practice, do more shows to get good enough. And he said, no, I won't let you go on my show unless you go on now. He said, it's interesting because you don't know what you're, like, it's comedy tragedy. He kind of wanted me to go on and bomb. And so I went again into Stitches, and it was a Wednesday night. It was Sweeney Meaney night. It was jam-packed. And I went on, and I think the audience, people's mouths were open. They were shocked at how bad I was. Just shocked. And I got off stage, and Kevin wouldn't look me in the eye, and nobody would. And it was just the most pulverizing humiliation. It was much worse than the first time because it was a really, the first time was an open mic night. The premise of the show is that most of us don't know what we're doing. But this was a professional comedy show. And I went on it and just flailed. I mean, it was a nightmare.
So was Kevin Meaney cutting you a break or being really cruel and putting you on after that?
That's open to interpretation. I don't know. I mean, he must have known how bad it was going to hurt me. But to me, I think he was giving me a break. It was up to me to make it into something. Who knows? Maybe I could have. Maybe I was funny. He hadn't seen me. Do you know what I mean? So he was giving me a chance. He was it's interesting when somebody becomes an agent in your life for a minute. You know what I mean? And they go, well, let's see what happens if you do this now. It was a formative experience. Sitting here now, I'm very glad I had it. It was
Why?
A great, great thing. Because it gave me a really realistic, shocking picture of what I was facing. That show that I did and that audience and that night, that was still the terrain that I work at today. I think if you're just looking for easy ways or you're looking for victories through life, I don't think you're really getting much out of it. I think you have to, if you really know how hard stuff is, and despite that you extract some tools out of yourself, it's better for you. And the next time I went on stage, I was very wary.
So what was the first time when you felt like you started to understand who you were on stage and like what your onstage personality was going to be? What your, persona, if I could use that word, was going to be? Like what the stage version of you was going to be.
The first time I went on stage, I did kind of offbeat and weird jokes just because I thought that you might as well try being more like what makes you laugh. I did really well. My third time on stage, I had really big laughs. And other comedians came up to me and said, "Hey, you're funny. You got something." And I was so excited that I had a little foot in the door that this is something I could maybe do. And I thought it's me being kind of weird the way I am in real life. I like to say things that don't make a whole lot of sense or surprise people a little bit. But then I got seduced by getting big laughs, and then I just started doing. Once you get laughs, you're like, "Oh, I'll do anything for that feeling. That feels really good." So then you start thinking it's just jokes.
So the first time you were on stage and started doing jokes where the comics were coming up to you and saying that was good, you've got something. What were you doing? What is it that you were doing on stage that they had a positive reaction to you?
I was doing more kind of contemplative, weird jokes. I don't think I did things that were self-reflective. I did things that were just like, well, one of the bits was about street signs that I thought they should be punctuated because I got confused by them. Like signs like "No, you turn," "Drive slow, children," that kind of thing. It was just taking these street signs and reimagining them. And that was an offbeat, funny, silly bit, and it made people laugh, and that's the only one I remember from then now.
When did you start talking about yourself, being self-reflective as you described it?
I think when I don't know, once I was in my 20s, I had grown up so much on the road because I started doing stand-up so young. I didn't go to college. So my formative years were being on the road, which meant I had a lot of embarrassing sexual stories because I didn't have a girlfriend all those years because I was on the road. I was traveling everywhere. And also I was doing a very unusual thing. I was doing stand-up when most people my age were in college. So I was an odd fit with everybody around me. So I started telling stories that were like confessional about strange sexual situations I'd been in. I think that's when I started to enjoy confessing and putting myself out there. But then, but I also talked about things like, the absurdity of being poor and trying to have money in the bank and stuff like that. So it was about life in general. I think it's when I was married and had children that I started to really talk about my own life and what my life felt like.
But before you realized how being a father would give you material for your comedy, did you think, okay, I'm going to be a father and now it's over for me? No more independence, no more easy life on the road, the door slamming shut?
Well, there's always a give and take. I was glad to let go of some of that. The road really sucks when it's all you have. It's really sad. It's very lonely out there. So I was happy to be in a family and be married and everything. And when I first got married and had kids, I thought, I had some friends I played poker with on Mondays, and I thought the poker game on Mondays that's the water line. Like if I don't make that game, I'm losing something. I'm losing something if I don't make it to that game. It means I'm letting go of my youth, I'm letting go of my manhood, all these things, my independence. But then after a while I realized, why would I want to go play poker with a bunch of guys in a smoky room when I could be at home with my family? And I realized that a lot of the things that my kid was taking away from me, she was freeing me of. A lot of things that men hang on to when they're younger, they're not good for you. And that there was this huge pride in having a kid, and also that I didn't matter anymore. The greatest thing about having a child is putting yourself second in your own life. It's a massive gift to be able to say that you're not the most important person to yourself.
Why is that a good thing?
Because you'll always, I don't know, because that's always going to let you down. You know what I mean? The idea of I've got to get me right. I've got to get what I want. That's got to be right. That's never going to quite work. Life just isn't that satisfying. But if you can be useful to somebody else, that you can actually accomplish. You know what I mean? You can go, I did a pretty damn good job today as a dad. Pretty good. Best as I could. That's worth so much more. You know, I saw a movie once where Spencer Tracy catches this woman about to kill herself. It's a pretty dark movie for the time, but I forget the name of the movie. But Spencer Tracy's on a boat, and he sees a rich young girl about to throw herself off the boat because her fiancé left her for another woman. And he's trying to talk her out of suicide. And he says to her, do you have a job? Do you have anything that you do in your life? Which was a funny thing to ask because she's like a 1920s, you know, she's like a socialite. And she said no. And he said, I think you should get a job because it's very hard to be sad and useful at the same time. And ever since I saw that, I keep that in my head. If you can be useful, which means to somebody else, not to yourself, if you can be useful, it just makes you feel better. So I live in service of my kids, you know, for that's the first priority. And then things like my career, they feed into that. They're part of that because I'm providing for them. But also, it's just not that important. If something's not important, it's more fun. It's more something you can look at from objectively instead of having it be this albatross around you. I've got to get this right.
I used to date a woman who was a vegan, so I had to her with my substitute. And remember when meeting a vegan was weird? Remember when that was like a strange thing? Like, oh, what is that? Like, you probably met your first vegan in the 90s. You had like a dinner party, and somebody brought a vegan. And they said, just so you know, I'm a vegan. And you're like, I'm sorry, you're a vegetarian? And they're like, no. Like, all right, what is the thing? And they tell you all, okay, yeah, I have no food for you. You can eat a napkin and paper, I don't care. But then you met another vegan, and you're like, oh, okay. And then now they're everywhere. Now, who cares? There's several vegans in restaurants and whatever. It's kind of like gay people, sort of a similar trajectory of growth and acceptance in the culture, you know? Gay people and vegans have a lot in common. Like, they both have to tell their families at Thanksgiving. That's when they have to tell them. And Dad gets angry. Your mother worked all night cooking that turkey, and you're telling me you're a faggot? You know, it's drama. But those are the old days. Things are better now. I think it's pretty amazing when you think about it. The people used to say that being gay was wrong. Pretty recently, folks used to, like most people used to say that being gay was wrong. Of course, it's not wrong to be gay. I mean, it's pretty gay, but it's not wrong. But that's what people used to say. And now nobody says that. And I think that's a positive change. I think that's a good thing. Although I do wonder if there are gay people who miss when it was wrong. Maybe there's a few who miss when it was, because wasn't it a little more fun when it was like, this is crazy? Like, didn't that give it a little zhuzh, a little, I could lose my job, oh. Because now they're like everybody else, which is great, and they can get married, that's terrific, but is that fun to your husband at your house? Wasn't it more fun to be in an old nightclub at 4 a.m, like, I'm breaking my mother's heart? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't even mean just gay people. Just some people like when sex is a little up, you know? Some people like when sex is a little all right. No. All right, you want to talk about it? Should we talk about it? Yeah, all right. I don't mind talking about it. Okay. Here's what I'll give you some advice. Here's some advice that really only I can give you. Here's my advice. If you ever ask somebody, can I jerk off in front of you? Just let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. If you ever ask somebody, may I jerk off in front of you? And they say yes. Just say, are you sure? That's the first part. And then if they say yes, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Because look, whatever you're into, okay? Because everybody's got their thing. Whatever your thing is, I don't know. You all have your thing. I don't know what your thing is. You're so lucky that I don't know what your thing is. Do you understand how lucky you are that people don't know your thing? Because everybody knows my thing. Everybody knows my thing now. Obama knows my thing. Do you understand how that feels? To know that Obama was like, good Lord. Everybody in the world knows my thing. I got on an airplane in Italy. This little kid was like, Mama, that's the guy who jack off in front of the people. So whatever your thing is, I don't know what it is. Maybe you can't come unless you have your father on speakerphone. Whatever it is. If you want to do it with somebody else, you need to ask first. But if they say yes, you still don't get to just go, woo, and charge ahead. You got to check in often. I guess that's what I would say. Check in. Because it's not always clear how people feel. Like, men are taught to make sure the woman is okay. But the thing is, women know how to seem okay when they're not okay. So you can't just look at her face and be like, yeah, her eyes are dry, we're fine, let's just keep going. You got to check in. Because communication during sex can be very confusing. Like, sometimes you're with a woman, you're having sex, she's making noises, she's going like, ooh, ah, and you're like, oh, she loves it. Not necessarily. Sometimes they're making those noises just to get through it. Because it's easier to go, ooh, than to say, I hate how you f*** me. Honestly, it's awful. So she goes, ooh, baby. It's kind of like a Negro spiritual. It's sort of similar. So to assume that she likes it is like if they heard slaves singing in the fields and you're like, hey, they're having a great time out there. As far as my thing, I don't know what the f***. People are like, why do you want to do it anyway? Okay, I don't know. I like jerking off. I don't like being alone. That's all I can tell you. I get lonely. Where is everyone? It's just sad. I like company. I like to share. I'm good at it, too. If you're good at juggling, you wouldn't do it alone in the dark. You would gather folks and amaze them. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that shit. Well.
Now, it's pretty interesting. It seems like you really wanted to cut out the middleman and create this website. Mm-hmm. $5, PayPal, stream it. You wrote a thing about please don't torrent this or whatever. Yeah. I don't understand that whole world either.
I don't get it. I don't know
what made you what made you say I need to cut out the middleman for this?
Well, I didn't want to cut out the middleman. I just didn't need one. You know what I mean? Like, to me, cutting one out would be a workaround something you're used to needing.
Right.
But there wasn't any reason to have somebody there. I just thought, make this thing and put it up. I've put things on the internet before, on YouTube and stuff. Once in a while, I put clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
And people watch them, they go viral and stuff. And so I was getting ready to do this special, and it's mine. I mean, I didn't ask for somebody's permission to do it. I just rented the theater, I got the booking at the Beacon.
You paid for everything yourself?
Yeah, I paid for it all. And also, I produced a TV show with no help from anybody. So I just used my company and my employees, and let's get 6 cameras and shoot the show. I've done it before. I did a special that I made myself a couple years ago called Hilarious.
Yep.
And the big idea there was to make it a movie that you go to see in a theater, like old concert films. And so that was something I tried, and it did okay. And then this time I thought...
But when you tried it, you weren't you've gone up a notch in terms of notoriety, I would say,
Yeah,
right?
Since I made that, definitely. Yeah, the series has really given me a lot. This is the first special I've done since I've had the series.
Yeah.
And so I thought, and also people don't really see... There's not a good model for stand-up
specials right now. There's not a thing like when George Carlin would do an HBO special and it was a big deal. They're on sometimes and nobody really watches them. Nothing draws people to the specials. So I thought, oh, maybe if I put it somewhere unusual, somewhere that people... I actually originally offered it to an online company and said, you can have this, but I don't want you to give it to anybody else. Like, online is always a dumping ground for stuff that's been on TV or in the movies, and the last place you can see it is online. And I thought it would be kind of cool to say this is whatever, this special. This is a special that's goes. You can only see it in this one place. There's not much exclusivity anymore, you know? Everything's on everything. So I thought, what if it was only one place? And they didn't quite get it. So I said, why aren't I doing this? Why don't I just do it and charge $5, which is so close to stealing that it's easy to be honest. And then once I did it, every decision I made me more interested in it. Like, what is the site like? You know, what's it like to buy it? What do you have to do to get it?
How do you get enough bandwidth to carry all the streaming at the same time?
Yeah, we got a huge website. Like, the first thing I thought is if it crashes, it's a waste of time. So get a huge website, make it really easy. I wrote all the things that are said on all the buttons and everything. I just made it very personal.
Yeah.
And I told them, I don't want it to be that you pay and then you get an email later and then you feel like you lost the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you pay for it and then all of a sudden you're gone.
Yeah.
And someday you get an email that says you have to do this. You mustn't use this video here. You can't watch it on your Xbox or what, all this kind of crazy stuff. So this one is just a simple video. There's no encryption on it.
I like how you charge $5 instead of $4.99.
Yeah, $4.99 is just a lie. It's just unfair. I mean, don't be a dick. Just
everything
say
about
$5.
it was very upfront. Like, even that little letter you wrote on the site, like, hey, people who steal things evilly, please don't do it.
Yeah, I
know you're probably going to.
Exactly. Well, if you live in a rough neighborhood and your lock is broken on your door, you know, you kind of want to look at the people that are hanging out on the sidewalk and just go, do me a favor, just leave me alone. I'm going out to get something to eat. Just don't go in and steal. Yeah. Just don't go in there. And people be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I was actually thinking of doing it.
Well, did it work?
Yeah, it really did. I mean, the thing is selling like crazy. So even if people are stealing it, they're not stealing it enough. It's not like they can actually steal it and then someone goes and it's not there.
Yeah.
Also, people have posted it on torrents, but not many people are taking it. That's where it becomes a problem, is when people are taking it.
Anyway, so I'm watching The Wizard of Oz with my daughters. Is that enough of a palate cleanser? All right. I'm watching The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you've seen it. It's about a little girl named Dorothy. A very sweet little girl, played by an alcoholic older lady who lives in Kansas. She has a dog. She's very upset. And she keeps telling, my dog. And everybody's like, this is a farm. We're working. Leave us alone. And then there's a tornado, and they all run inside, and they barely look for her. It's unbelievable. It was so upsetting to me when I was a kid to see this movie. Because Auntie Anne's like, Dorothy! Okay, it. And she just goes right inside, bolts the door. Unbelievable. So Dorothy goes up to Oz. So here's the thing. I was watching the other night, and there's this one moment that really stunned me. It's when Ray Bolger played the Scarecrow. He just got ripped apart by flying monkeys. And he's very upset. And he has this performance that's way over the top, even for this movie. Do you remember that moment? The Tin Man comes over. What happened? And he's like, well, first they tore my arms off, and they threw them over there. And then they tore my legs off, and they threw them over there. And I've seen this movie 1,000 times. But for some reason this time, that moment made me go, whoa, that was a lot. And I started to wonder if Victor Fleming, the guy who directed The Wizard of Oz, if he had a moment during the filming of the movie where he was like, I think I gotta have a word with Ray. Because that's getting to be a lot. All right, let him do another one. Okay, action. What happened? Well, first they tore my arms off, and they threw them over there. And then they tore my legs off, and they threw them over there. Okay, cut. Comes over. So listen, Ray. Yes? Nah, you're fine.
That's so funny.
don't get to precede your shows with a soliloquy about the context.
I really am a naive 8-year-old.
You know what I mean? It's like every time I've edited, when you put together, but it's a good question, because when you put together shows, whenever I've edited something with someone else, one of the reasons I love doing my show is that I edit it myself, because when you edit with somebody and they're doing something that's not working, and you go, or when somebody shows me something of theirs, like if I have a friend who's doing a TV show and they show me a cut of it, and I go, this part was confusing, I'm not getting that, and then they explain it to me. No, see, this is from before when he did the thing, and that when I showed that. And I always say to them, well, as long as you're sitting next to every viewer giving that explanation, then go ahead and cut it that way. But people take stuff in this raw way. And most people don't really remember what they saw, and most people don't really take in about 60% of what they're watching. So I think the context of Lucky Louie was that no show looked like it. No one knew why the f*** we would make a show that looks like that. And no one had ever seen a show that had a basic 3-camera family format where we would say cunt.
Laughs too, by the way. I went back and forth with the critic because the laughs were so booming that people thought, and this is one of the things I loved about you, is that you would never sweeten, and you did not, like a lot of times we would do a joke, it didn't work. Yeah. And you'd come to me and go, all right, what do you got? Let's try something else. We would try something else. Sometimes that would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But you always left it. If the joke didn't get a 9, you left it as a 6. You didn't change. Those were real laughs.
Well, a show is supposed to have a ebb and flow. Any scene in any show should have a quiet part, a loud part, explosions, parts where you come back a little bit. It's like watching a baseball game. You're watching a game develop. You're watching the show, you're watching the guy's at-bat develop. You're watching him work the count to 3-1, whatever it is. And then you know, wow, there's potential now because there's 3-1. Oh, missed. So now it's even potential. You're watching this, and then when the guy hits a home run, it's a huge victory. But the way people make TV now is that they just wanted to. I mean, what would it be like if every baseball game was just home runs?
Right.
Home runs. There, no, not even outs. Just till everybody gets tired and goes home.
Yeah.
It's boring. So to me, a show should have this natural feeling to it, which our show did. A scene would develop. Some parts would work, some parts wouldn't. Some parts would explode, and it would mean something. Instead of this, every TV show now just has exactly the same laugh for every joke. It's unwatchable to me.
It's awful.
But it is what TV has been. And had been when Lucky Louie came on. What was that, 2005?
It might have been 6 or 5 or 6. Yeah, it might have been 5.
So I'm going to say there was a good 25 years of TV made exactly the same way. How the f*** do you beat that? I mean, how do you come on and not be seen as just a jarring, strange, and intelligent people didn't understand it. Intelligent people said there's a laugh track. I mean, we even had us saying, like when they did in Happy Days, when Happy Days came on, there was a credibility problem for sitcoms because of the laugh track. They had overused the laugh track. So Gary Marshall on the Three's, not Three's Company, Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, they had one of the characters say Happy Days was filmed before a live audience. They said it out loud. Yes. They didn't even print it. They said it out loud to make sure you knew that they're not that these laughs are real. We did the same thing. We felt like we needed to do this.
Pam would do it, right?
Pamela did it. I did it. Did you ever do one?
I never did one, no.
And then we did that, and people would fucking professional TV reviewers would watch the show, hear that with their ears, and they would write canned laughter.
You know what's and this is what they didn't see, is a lot of times before the show, you'd go out and talk to the audience, and I remember you saying something to the effect of, don't laugh if you don't think it's funny. If you think it's funny, laugh. If you don't think it's funny, don't laugh. You kind of told the crowd it was okay just to relax and react naturally, which to me just makes people feel comfortable to laugh.
Well, I still say that when I film stand-up for my show now, because a lot of my show has me doing stand-up at the club, at the Comedy Cellar, I tell that audience, because every audience thinks they're an actor in the show. But they're supposed, because you go to like Letterman or TV tapings, and they tell you to really go nuts. And I don't think anything sickens me more than manufactured enthusiasm. People when, this guy, woo, and they all go bananas.
It's hard.
You're left out of it. I don't think anyone. I mean, like I remember when I did Hilarious. Well, the first time I did produced my own special was chewed up, and the producers said, "We want you to look like you're a rock star when you walk on that stage." And I said, "Why? I'm not. I'm a comedian, and I don't. When I'm watching something, I don't like Dane's special Vicious Circle when it comes out to and there's a stadium of people cheering him on. If you're a new viewer and you don't know who this guy is, you're like, well, I guess this is some party I missed, because I just want to watch a person go on and earn their credibility from scratch. So I tell the audiences at the Comedy Cellar, don't have it. You're here because I'm doing a show for you. You're the audience. So make me earn it. Don't laugh if it's not funny.
I also feel embarrassed when they're too hyped up and I walk out. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to live up to this. And I know you were put up to it.
Yeah, exactly.
When they do a special, I went bananas when I just used shooting for HBO.
Yeah.
And they were having, we were doing Down and Dirty, and they were having the audiences laugh. Give us a laugh. And the crowd laughs.
That's the worst thing in the world. And I've had fights with directors about that they want to get laughs for editing purposes. If you can't edit a concert without those extra laughs, you're a moron. It's hard. It's a challenge. Like, I've had moments where you're trying to make an edit in a special that's got a hiccup in it, and you go find a piece of a laugh somewhere else to use, or a piece of applause, and it never ends up working anyway. You end up just doing another cut. But when they do that to an audience, they make an audience feel like and they lose a lot of your credibility before you come out.
Because then then the reaction becomes almost like when someone pokes you, you go, ow! It's almost like, they understand the rhythm of the punchline.
Yes.
And it's not natural.
They're not listening anymore.
It's so encouraging to see that, because it's like, you didn't clean up, you didn't change who you are, you're still the same despicable wretch, and it's like, you're doing it, I was like, your way, but you're doing what you want to do, and it's working, man. And it's like, what inside of you gives you the ability to do that, and not just go, I'm humiliated, I can't do it.
Well, it's every failure I've ever had, because I have failed hard, and I've been the center of negative attention, at least twice, with Pootie Tang and Lucky Louie.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that enjoyed trashing that show.
Yeah, they did, right? It was irritating.
There was people that attacked it unnecessarily. I remember after we were on the air for 8 months. We had weathered the storm. There was this feeling like we had our bad reviews, we had our good reviews, and with that information, the American public is deciding to watch the show. We're growing. And then a reviewer here in New York, David Bianculli,
scumbag,
he didn't review the show. The Daily News, his paper, had reviewed it with another reviewer who said positive things about it. He didn't write a review and analyzing the show, which I think is what critical writing is supposed to be, analysis of art. I think it's a legitimate field to be an expert in television, watch TV shows, and then write an analysis. When critics are supposed to do this, write what the show is like, describe it from a professional point of view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just a viewer, but this is what this show is. I don't think it works because of these reasons. Here's the historical context of it. It's much like this show, much like this other. Here's what I think they're trying to do. Here's where I think they fail.
Right.
But he didn't do that. He wrote, one of these reviewers believe that they should be affecting how TV's made, and they think they should, they like that power. So he wrote an article that the gist of it was HBO needs to cancel Lucky Louie, even though it only has 4 episodes left. And even though HBO doesn't need to cancel shows because they don't sell advertising, if you have a show that's ratings are poor, the advertisers are losing money. So you have to cancel it before it's finished. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
HBO is a subscription service,
right,
and it doesn't have a reason to cancel. There's by canceling a show. And our ratings were increasing. So David Bianculli wrote, they should cancel the show to make a statement that they know the show is a mistake. And he put people's jobs on the line. He doesn't, you know what I mean? If you don't like a show, that's one thing. And if you write and trumpet your hatred for a show, you're welcome to do it. But there are people who like it, and there are people who are making it, and it's their life. Like, it was just, to me, it was like a way overstepping. Like, who the needs to read this?
Didn't he get, he's not with the Daily News
I don't know. I have no idea
I think he was fired, or
might be a guy who I'd read something else of his that I would, but he took this.
No, I detest him. I hope he has a lump somewhere.
Reason to write that, and I wrote him an email telling him that I objected and then I erased it. I've done that a lot. I've written a lot of angry emails and erased them just as a way to get it out. But Anyway, you asked me some a long time ago. The point is, I've been the center of attention, of negative attention, a couple of times. I've had my worst nightmare come true, and I survived it. It didn't hurt me as badly as I thought it would. And indeed, I gained every time, gained hugely. And I wouldn't trade those bad experiences for anything. So what that tells me is when I start trying something, the bad version of it, I could take it. Like, I have no fear because my worst fears have been realized, and it wasn't so bad. It would be like if you started boxing and you're like, I'm afraid to get punched in the face. Anybody is. And your first few times you get punched in the face, you're like, I don't hate this.
Right.
And I'm good at the boxing.
And I'm not dead.
I'm not dead. I don't hate it, and I'm succeeding sometimes. Why? This is what I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
And you have complete control here.
Oh, at FX is totally unbridled control. But it comes with good. I mean, it comes with credibility. I've had failures, but I've turned it out. And by the way, the 2 failures that I've had have both, in my view, been vindicated by people watching. People still watch like. Great.
Jesus Christ.
My daughter's in kindergarten.
Where did he get that?
Well, I don't know where
I was way behind.
Yeah.
I know. I don't have any of those stories from when I was younger.
I remember I loved Kelly Howell when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. I had such a crush on her, but I had shit my pants a lot in school.
You shit your pants a lot?
You were a pants shit?
Horrendous. It would always smell like rust. And I was standing in line one time, and Kelly Howell was right behind me, and she's like, "Did you go poops in your pants?" And it was my first attempt at sarcasm. I'm like, yeah, sure.
It doesn't work when it's true,
No,
though.
it doesn't. It was a confirmation that I had indeed flat. It looked like a nail head. Like I had flattened it by sitting on it. It was cool. There's nothing worse than cold, rusty smelling in your underpants.
Oh, that is horrid.
Yuck.
And she knew you hit yourself.
How could she not have? As I was standing there stiff-legging, trying to get out, smelling like shit. I shit my pants all the time in school because I only wanted to get at home.
I remember I shit my pants in school once, and it was like I just basically coated the inside of my underwear with diarrhea. And I went to the bathroom, and while I'm in the stall, Michael Boyven, the toughest kid in school, and his gang came into the bathroom.
Come on, Woim.
Yeah, exactly. And I was standing on the toilet with my underwear in my hands, just praying that he wouldn't kick the door open and find me there.
Would you have been embarrassed?
And I had no choice. I ate it. What else could I do? What else could I do?
I wish Michael Boyven would have found that underwear in your hand. You might not be here today.
I wouldn't be right here.
Kill you.
No, I'd be with him right now. I'd be married to him.
My best shit story happened when I was 31 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've told it a couple times. Rick, our old producer for this radio show, I was down in Florida, and I was meeting his what would be his future wife for the first time. And it was a big deal. And we went out and we had a little lunch, whatever, and I had an upset stomach all day. And it was when, like, boxer shorts were really in, so you're a little looser, right? And I had shorts on, and I had, like, sandals on. And I was saying goodbye on their stoop, and I thought I could sneak out just a little bubble fart. And this is a true story, man. A little nugget fell out.
God.
Rolled down my leg, bounced off my sandal, and just rolled to the front of
Take that with you.
Like down to their feet?
Oh, pretty much. It couldn't have been more perfect.
You know,
how it just rolled and landed right
That was
at their
my
feet.
last milk dud. Get all mad.
That's how they say goodbye in some countries. That's actually how you say goodbye.
That's a cookie in Haiti.
That's how I met his future wife, and then I said,
that's how they fell in love.
I don't feel good, and then I just hit my brains for the next 6 to 8 hours or something like that. I ended up not leaving, and I had to lay down back in their place. I ended up having just food poisoning or something was going on.
Shit myself.
It was
shit myself.
It was just one little nugget, and I was already in my 30s.
Oh my God! When I was on writing on Conan, I was a writer there, and I was laying awake in bed one morning, not getting up yet, and I was sleeping in just underwear, no shirt for some reason. I usually sleep in shirt and underwear, and I just laying there and about planning to fart, and just shit. I just
in my underwear. And for some reason, the fact that I was in bed, mostly naked, it just really upset me. And I was really bummed.
Thing, huh?
And then my phone rang, and it was my friend Dino, who was one of my guys I wrote with on Conan. And I told him what happened. I said, I just feel so, I don't want to get out of bed now. Like, I don't know, I just don't want to move. This was the grossest thing that ever happened to me.
Deal with it.
And then I got out of bed, I cleaned up, and I went to work, and I opened the door, and the writer's assistant, this woman says, "Hey, I heard you did your underwear this morning." I'm like, "What the f-? And every single person came up to me. Conan said, "Hey, what's that? How did that go in your underwear?" and I go to Dino, and I said, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "I assumed you wanted me to tell everybody."
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
right? You wouldn't have told me.
Didn't you tell me so I could spread the news before you got to work?
Amazing. I like piss the bed stories when I was a kid. I think the last time, though, wasn't one of those, if you're just a kid, you piss the bed, because I never did that. It was kind of when you're in your early teens almost, and you dream that you're taking a piss.
Yes.
Right.
So you're laying in bed, and you're dreaming that you're just taking this wicked piss.
Wicked
piss. And you wake up and go like, oh boy, pissed all over the bed.
Do you know I did that with that dream when Louie and I were in Bonnaroo a few years, 2003, in the Tennessee. I woke up in my hotel bed, and I was in my sheets where I pissed my bed just a couple years ago.
Wet dreams are great.
When I was like,
you just come and you fucking shoot a load in your sleep.
Just to stay with piss for a second. When I was in like first grade, I remember I was in my bedroom just being confused, and I pissed on my bed, like standing there.
That is confusing.
I pissed on my bed, and I remember thinking, I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Wow, that's weird.
I just pissed on it, and then I didn't let anybody in my room for a while. I just said, please don't go in there, and it just got stiff with piss, and it was really depressing.
Get rid of that bed.
So what about coming in your bed?
Yeah, like when you have a wet dream, and those are just for the very youthful. Right. I don't think I've had one of those in decades, but I do remember you come like in a second, because in your dream, I guess you've been so worked up that in real life you got a rod and you're humping your bed or whatever the fuck you're doing. And then when this dream girl, the girl in the dream, has her clothes off, and you just like touch your dream to her dream. See, dream cum comes out all over the fucking place, and then in real life you're just shooting your load all over.
You know, a lot of times,
but in your dream, it's like it feels amazing.
But a lot of times, you're not rubbing in your dream. By the way,
no, you
have just so much like sperm built up.
That's amazing. That complete mental thing, then, and there's no physical pumping.
But that's why you don't have many wet dreams if you have an active, sex life. You got to really
dry yourself off.
I've never had one.
That's why,
because you're just jacking.
Wet dreams are amazing.
There's a cycle to this, because when I was in 8th grade, 7th grade, 12, 13, that all I needed was 12-year-old, 13-year-old Lauren Tossi in her gym clothes, lifting up her shirt and pulling her shorts down slightly.
Yeah.
That was the picture I had, and I'd come immediately. Like, that to me, that was the pinnacle of sex.
Right.
Thank you.
I didn't even, here's the thing. And then I grew up, and I started getting hand jobs, I started f***ing women, getting blown, coming on asses and faces and tits. And now I'm 40, and I'm back to that's all I can really get off.
That's all you can really think about.
A teenage girl showing me 4 inches of her belly.
Yeah.
Let's go to Florida.
What happens there?
No, and a grown woman blowing me, I'm like, can you leave? This is boring.
Let's go to Greg in Florida. Greg.
Hey, what's up?
Fantastic.
Well, I got a good story. It's actually twofold. It's the same day.
Twofold?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a twofold. Well, it was about 12 years ago. I used to drive a truck for a bread company, and I
just like how it got old-fashioned for a second. Twofold. The next one would be thrice. Well,
I actually have more stories, but this is the best one, I guess you'd say. But anyway, I ate something that morning that obviously didn't agree with me, and I started feeling it, getting the sweats and getting the goose pimples on your arm, and so pulled over the truck, went out in the woods, and didn't have anything to wipe with, so I took a dinner roll with me. And of course, took my wipe with the dinner roll, and as I'm walking back, I saw some squirrels sitting there eating the damn dinner roll.
Wiped his ass with a dinner roll.
That's fucking great.
You're a true gentleman.
Dinner roll.
About 30 minutes later, it hit me again. So
they're eating dirt cookies in Haiti. He's wiping his ass with a dinner roll. America.
I'll tell you what, it was silky, better than Bob Kelly's damn water.
Oh, shit, listen, that could be, wiping your ass with a dinner roll. That is the ultimate. Yeah. And that means that we've got 2 years left in this country. That's the end of Rome. That's the end of the French aristocracy.
Wiping your ass with the dinner roll.
Wiping your ass with a dinner roll.
He's very resourceful, though. That's good thinking.
Sure
Sometimes
is.
you're proud of yourself, and it's like, well, I figured this out.
How do you have rolls and not a napkin, though? Where were you?
He drove a bread truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in a bread. Yeah, it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Wait, so you opened he opened the big back of the truck and took out
big
one
doors.
dinner roll?
One lucky dinner roll and never going to make it to the dinner table.
Yeah, and then the squirrels were kind of shaking their heads as they were eating it, so I don't know.
All right, fine. That part I don't believe.
That dinner roll could have been on the table with a family going, thank you, Lord, for these gifts we are about to receive.
How come there are only 11 of these?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Right.
You go to the baker's dozen. Sorry, Jimmy.
That's all right.
You go for the baker's dozen cake.
Doesn't funny. A baker's dozen like an old lady I'm trying to spit out. That's a baker's, is it?
Shitter's dozen.
All right, we're going to take a break.
A baker's dozen is 13, a shitter's dozen is 11.
My dog, let me just cap it by saying that my dog ate a full diaper yesterday.
Oh my
There's nothing. That is
with dogs?
The worst
What's with dogs?
moment in a parent's life. It's
Ate
worse
the
than anything
diaper
that's
too?
happened. She ate. Well, she doesn't finish. That's the thing. If she gobbled it up and cleanly ate it, I wouldn't care. But I come home and there's the remnants of a full diaper all over the floor, and she's got literally a eating grin and in her whiskers.
That was like sushi for your dog.
Yeah,
that was very enjoyable. All right, more stories after the break, and
good thing.
And we might have another Stan Meyer situation here, a guy that invented another car that would make us all happy.
I always seem to get in trouble with people. I don't know what happens to me. I was in traffic once, and a guy behind me lost his mind. That ever happen to you? The guy behind you in traffic just decides that you're the problem. It's you. I don't know what happened. I'm sitting in this car, and there's 50 cars ahead of me before any light. And the guy behind me just starts beep, 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 beep. I look at him, and he's honking just at me. He's amazed that I'm not going. He's going, go! Jesus! Just go! Screaming out his window at me. Like I'm driving all 50 cars there, you know? I'm pushing them like shopping carts in a parking lot. What does he think? He keeps yelling, go! And I'm trying to do that thing. What? I can't. What do you want? What do you want? Why are you... But it just made him madder. He was like purple and crazy. And I'm laughing at him, you know, till he gets out of his car. He's one of these guys, gets out of his car, comes up to my car, starts screaming at me, move it! Move it! And what am I gonna say back? What's gonna be my argument that's gonna make him see clearly, you know? Well, I can't because of all the cars. I'm not able to get through the cars because they're solid. They're made of solid material. You know what I mean? And he's going to go, oh, yeah, I didn't know they were solid. That's right. Yeah, you can't drive through the cars. Well, I'll just go back to my car and wait. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. But he kept yelling at me, so I just decided, you know what? I'm going to argue with this guy. I'll argue with him. But I'm going to argue about something else. I'm not going to have his argument. I'm going to have mine. So he goes, move it! And I go, well, give me back my jacket! And he stopped. And I was like, yeah, you got my jacket! Give it back! Now! I want it! He got scared. Got back in his car and he locked his doors, so, you know, that's what I do from now on. was talking to my this guy Jerry that I know, and he's one of these guys. You know those people who they sound like they're happy for you, but they sound like they're in pain also. You know people that talk like that. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I go, "Well, my sister is getting married." "Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, and I think we're gonna have a baby. Oh my God! Ah! Ah! God bless you! Thanks, pal.
No one even young people don't even consider the idea that it's a good idea to be out in the fringe, which is where good ideas come from.
Yeah.
Like, people are almost like begging the government to take over and the corporations to take over your life. Like, people are excited that when you take a picture of yourself on your phone and put it online, it says where the you were. Why are people excited about that?
Yeah, what is that?
Like, I remember when Easy Pass first happened.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, I don't want everybody knowing when I went to the Lincoln Tunnel. Right. Like, what are you carrying secret documents? Who the fuck gives a shit about you? Right. But people used to think that way.
Right.
Cameras in Central Park for crime? Yeah, but what about my privacy? But now people are like, guess what? If I take a picture and send it to somebody, the whole world knows exactly where I was.
Where I was at that given moment.
And I can store all of everything I have on a computer in North Carolina. And I don't even have to... And they get to have all my stuff. And Facebook knows who all my friends are and what I've said to all of them. Every single conversation I've ever had is a public record in the Library of Congress. Yay! Cool.
That is fucked up.
Isn't that cool?
And we worried about Easy Pass a mere 3 years
ago.
People
are excited.
3 years ago, right?
It's everything you tell somebody, I think I might be pregnant. It's in the Library of Congress now.
Forever.
Cool. And there's a geotag on it saying where you were standing when you said it. A coordinate.
Yeah.
A global coordinate.
Of
where you were standing
and longitude.
Why do people? Why would
when
you
said that?
But we didn't want to use
took a picture.
But we didn't want to use Easy Pass 3 years ago.
Yeah,
that is really up.